Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. I'm going to wait a couple minutes till I see you coming on. When you come on, say hi. We love to have you say hi and tell us where you're from. Welcome to Spiritual Discoveries with Angie and Friends. My friend today, you're going to love her, is a good friend of mine and an excellent, excellent astrologer, Cassandra Joan Butler, and I'm going to have her on in just a couple minutes. But anyway, my name is Reverend Angie Hewitt Apt. I'm a registered Lily Dale medium, and I'm really excited to be here with you today. I love doing this, and I love getting to interact with all of you. So it's an exciting, exciting time because guess what? In 1 week's time, next Friday is opening day in Lilydale. So I'm really excited about that and looking forward to it. And it's nice because it's going to be pretty much a normal year, so much different than last year. I want to tell you, actually, I'm going to bring Cassandra on now because Cassandra loves talking about Lilydale with me. So we can tell you lots about Lilydale together. So everybody, this is my good friend, Cassandra Joan Butler. She's an excellent astrologer, a medium, and all kinds of things. Right? Welcome, Cassandra.
Hello, Angie. Thanks for having me on today.
Thanks for being on. I'm really, really happy to have you. I was just telling everybody that Lilydale, one week's time is opening day.
I know. I mean, Lilydale is so many people's happy place. It has been my happy place for 40 years.
I know. We hate to admit how long. I think I've been probably going there for that long too. There, I just shared I wasn't looking down and ignoring you, but I wanted to make it so we could see all the comments. So everybody know. So Cassandra, what's your favorite thing at Lilydale?
I'm sorry?
What's your favorite thing at Lilydale? Your favorite thing to do?
Oh, it's hard to pick a favorite. I'm a Libra rising. But I love walking in the fairy woods and going to the stump, of course. I've had many happy moments just walking by the lake, by the Cassandra Lake, and everything. I mean, it's the energy. As soon as you walk in, you feel like you're in a timeless place. I think it's timeless because it's like a little Victorian village, but it's has a modern feel to it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And there's something to it. For me, I remember the first time going to Lilydale and walking through those gates and you could feel the peace. I think that's what took me back over and over and over again, even before mediumship was, I loved to like you said, to sit by the Cassandra Lake and feel that peaceful feeling, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Michelle says stump reading. Yes. Hello, everybody. Hi. Thanks for joining us. So I just want to go over. So again, next Friday is opening day for Lilydale. And I just want to tell you, you can find what's going on every single day on lilydaleassembly.org. Or Lilydale's Facebook page, like the page. Okay. And you can see there are so many things. That's what's so exciting. There are classes every day. I think at least maybe 5 classes a day. I'm not sure. And one of the most a really amazing thing is they're being offered in person, but you can also, if you can't get there, you can take the class on Zoom.
So, I know, something new, and it's going to be great.
I know. Isn't that great? I know there's Rini. Hi, Rini. And then in Lilydale too, you come in for the day and you can go to meditation at 8:30 in the morning. There's a video presentation in the library at 11:30. And I missed from 10:30 to 11:30 is a healing service in the Healing Temple. And I know, Cassandra, like you and I are both energy healers, and I love energy healing.
Absolutely. And they also, all through the pandemic, the Healing Temple has been a touchstone for people around the world because they've been doing it on Zoom. I know many of our mutual dear friends have been a part of the Healing Temple's offerings.
I know they're wonderful. I know I love that too. And I'm so happy that they found a way to keep it going throughout the whole year. I think we all had to be creative this past year, right? To do that. So, okay, next at 1:00, at 1:00, and I want to give you the right times. 5:30 is Inspiration Stump. And I appreciated last year I had to chair that stump service a couple of times and you came out, Cassandra.
Yes, remember that we had some happy times there.
Yeah, we had fun giving messages. So yeah, you never, ever, ever want to miss the stump. I think probably that's my favorite.
Yeah, me too. I mean, that's an old growth forest. It's one of the very rare and few ones in the country, really. I mean, Lilydale could hang a shingles and say, come into an old growth forest,
Yeah.
and people would come in just for that.
Yeah, because they never cut the trees down.
Yeah.
I noticed too, like when you look up, you're sitting in those benches and you look up, it looks like you're in a cathedral. And
Yes.
it's all trees, kind of, it really does look like a cathedral, doesn't
Yes.
it?
It's nature's cathedral. It's so uplifting. We've had many, many amazing messages from some of the mediums there, given messages. On the anniversary of my beloved mother's passing, I just want to share something with
Yeah.
people about
Yeah.
how amazing the mediums are at Lilydale. I guess I can give names, right?
Yeah. Of
Yeah.
course.
So I went to the anniversary of my mother's passing, and my mother said to me, "Oh, you're going to get a reading at Stump." And I said, "Okay, Mom." And I went there, and the place was packed. It was standing room only. You could not find a place to sit down. And I'm saying, "Mom, come on." And Joe Shield was the chairman of the Stump service. And I didn't get a reading. So I'm thinking, Mom, you let me down. Again, she's in spirit.
Yeah.
And then Joe says, there's a woman who's been sitting next to me this entire time, and she refuses to let me go unless she gives her daughter a message.
And
And
you
he
went,
drew a picture of my mother. As
really?
he's sitting there, he drew a picture of my mother and
Wow.
looked just like her.
Wow.
See,
Wow.
Joe does mediumship using his art.
I know. And it's amazing to watch him do it because he sits and he draws. It takes him 5 minutes maybe to draw a picture. And it probably looked exactly like your mom, right?
Yes, absolutely. Oh yeah. And she told him through Joe, she's got 3. She passed from cancer, and she was very religious. Bingo.
Yeah. So you knew exactly that was her. See,
Yeah.
so your mom came through, and
Yeah.
when you tell you they're coming through, they come through,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Better late than never. But my mother was always late, and so am I sometimes, Angie. Between you and I, sometimes we run late.
I know, me too, right? You and I are always like, let's get together at 12-ish. What do you think? 12-ish is good. Some are a little before, a little after.
Right.
We're always both good with that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I remember, I just have to tell you that too, Hi, because I know your mom comes to visit you a lot. And my mom actually passed from the same thing, I think, as your mom did. And my mom, when she was 6, told me, and we, she said, I don't even know why you're upset at all. I'm going to see you more from the other side than I saw you when I was here. And she said, I'll be a little birdie on your shoulder, and I'll be coming to your classes and different things like that. Yeah, and it's been amazing because I get messages from her too. But I think like it's the signs. Everybody asks me all the time, like, is this a sign or is that a sign? And I think we have to pay attention to every little thing and then trust the way it feels to us, and then we know that it's a sign, right?
Yes, I totally agree, Angie. If those who have eyes to see will see.
Oh, I like that. That's a good one. I like that a lot. So yes, I think the same thing. So look, we have lots of people. I want to just hi to everybody, and I know you do too. Lisa, Alberta, Paula, Terry, Lynn, Rini. I think Terry already said hi to you. Rhonda, Michelle. I love stump readings too. Retta, Joanne. Oh, Marty. Hi, Marty. Marty's on here too. Marty Hughes. Marty also.
Cool.
Registered Lilydale medium too. I can't wait to see her. And hi, Elma from Florida. Yeah, I bet you it's pretty nice and warm. I heard like over 90 in Florida. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Marianne. Marianne came on too. So, and
a big hi to, I'm recognizing many of the names. So big hi to you. I can't see their names in my chat, but that's okay.
Okay, I'll keep so Nancy. Hi, Nancy Pro. Good to see you, and Sage too. Yeah, thanks for coming on. We appreciate you joining us. So again, I'm Reverend Angie Hewitt-Apt. I'm a Lilydale registered medium. My guest today is my good friend and excellent astrologer, Cassandra Joan Butler. Really international astrologer is what I should be saying. So I'm going to let you tell them, and rather than read your bio, I could read it. You want me to? I don't know.
You've memorized it by by
I
heart.
probably have it memorized by now. Yeah, but why don't you tell everybody about you and what
Okay,
you do and
sure,
how
sure.
you do a lot of amazing things.
Well, what can I say? I've always had a passion for spirituality. I can thank my mom for that. I think she was an excellent medium, although she never hung up a shingle. I want to talk about my mom for some reason. I remember one time she was in meditation, and she knew my father had ran off without her permission and bought a boat. All right.
Oh,
So he comes in the door and she said, Kenny, where were you? Did you buy a boat?
and what did your
Join.
dad say? What did
And,
he
and, and
say?
so my father's, how did you know that? And she said, well, I just had a feeling. We called it spirit. It was just like a little motorboat, spirit, the motorboat. Anyway, so I've always been interested in all this. My parents, my mother specifically, my grandmother specifically, traveled down to Lilydale, started meditating with Bill Collar, who's a wonderful medium at
Yes.
Lilydale, who's in spirit, and also had one foot in the other world too. The RC Church, grew up in a very eclectic household, and studied religion in college. I was a religion major, and then did social work as a major. So
Okay.
somewhere around the late 80s, it was in 1987 exactly, I started doing a column for the Metro Community News, an astrology column. And my dear friends, I was green. I apologize to any of you who are still my clients. You may have noticed since 1987, I've gotten a little better at it.
I'd say. So wait, you started, how did they, so somebody asked you to do an astrology column?
Actually, it was a meditation again. I was working with meditation, and the little inspired thought said, knock on the door of the newspaper. And I walked in there and I said, I'm just wanting to know if you have any advice for someone who wants to write an astrology column. And the woman, her name was Marion, she said, well, as a matter of fact, we have an opening. Our astrologer is leaving.
Wow.
So it was,
Talk about spirit,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. We have to open ourselves to inspired thoughts. We have all the knowledge within us. We're not always taught that, but I know you teach that in your beautiful Santosha school. All of the mutual schools that you and I are affiliated with, like Fellowships of the Spirit.
Yep.
We all teach, meditate, go within, trust your spirit.
Yes, for sure. And you really have to do that. And if you, and because I think we're guided, and that sure sounds like you were guided, and you were never thinking at that time probably that you were going to be an astrologist the way you are now, right?
Oh no, I fought it, kicking and screaming. Because back in the 80s, if you did this type of work, you were considered, say it with me, friends, weird is the nice expression.
I'd say weird. Yeah, I was going to say that too. Like what word I could,
but weird at best and crazy at worst.
Yeah, no, I remember that too. Because for me too, that I kind of got into mediumship too, like in the 80s, and I didn't tell anybody.
No.
There was like a few people that knew, and then I remember it kind of felt like coming out of the closet or something when we admitted it, right?
Exactly. I talk about that a lot. When did you come out of the spiritual closet?
Yes, I know. Although I think that people are a lot more accepting of it now than back.
Absolutely.
Okay, for sure.
I don't mean to talk over you, but I had this conversation this morning with a friend. I told him I'm running off to do an interview with you, and he said, "Wow, you're doing a lot of interviews these days." I go, and he said, "Well, it seems to be more mainstream. No one of us are a little bit we're shy about it sometimes, but the Marines use meditation, cops use mediums and psychics. I mean, it's gone mainstream. The
medical people do use.
And I'm sure you don't kiss and tell, but some of my clients have changed over the years who are heavy hitters in the business realm, but they shrug their shoulders and say, yeah, I have an astrologer, I have a medium, I have acupuncture, I have an energy healer. Yeah. All this stuff is really exciting. We're in an exciting time.
It's I think so too. It's wonderful. And I thought this, I remember it was so hard to say, what do you do for I'd go to a family party and they'd say, what do you do for a living? And I'd say, I don't work because I wouldn't.
We don't. We have fun.
But yeah, but then when I finally said it, I remember I worked at a car dealership at the time, and it kind of came out that people found out that I did this. And of course I would get the jokes where I'd go over to a mechanic and say, "What's wrong with this car?" And they'd say, "Don't you know?" You must know. But
Right.
so I definitely got teased, but I found that people accepted it more than I thought. And actually, the guys I think that teased me the most were the ones that would secretly say, "Would you give me one of those readings?" And don't tell anybody, right?
Right, right. I think, this is an interesting topic, Angie. I've given it a lot of thought.
Yeah.
My sense is that we in the West, especially in the West, in the East, it's not as taboo. The astrology, for example, in India, where there's a very strong tradition there, the astrologers are esteemed like doctors would be in this country. Yeah.
Mhm.
But I think that the Western sense of self is that we're all these little individuals who have total control over our destinies, and spirit and astrology can't work because we're driving our own bus all the time. And I always kind of giggle to myself that, yeah, we create our own reality, but reality also creates us.
Yes, absolutely true. Absolutely.
Mhm.
And astrology, like I remember when I met you. Remember when we met?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think it was like at the Earth Spirit Expo, right? I think I
right.
came over and got and then we've been friends ever since. And
Absolutely.
and I remember like you giving me an astrology reading, which by the way, anybody, if you want an good astrologist or astrology reading, contact Cassandra for sure. But
Thank you.
but yeah, and I remember like I felt so much better after that reading because you started telling me like different things. Well, this is because, that I don't remember like Mercury is in retrograde, which it is right now. We can talk about that. But you went through and told me those things and it made total sense,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
made me feel so much better. That I think sometimes with astrology, like you might be feeling a little out of sorts or something. And I'm lucky I know you because I can call you and say, Cassandra, why am I feeling like this? And
Right.
you'll be correct. So
Hmm,
it's,
hmm,
it's,
yeah.
it's amazing.
I think of the astrology as psychic or spiritual weather, but we
Mhm.
still are in control with whether we put a raincoat on or if we stay home,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yes, no, makes sense. Hey, since I mentioned this really quick, and then I want to get to all the things we want to talk about, but talk about Mercury in retrograde because everybody always goes, Mercury in retrograde is terrible. And I think there's some good things. I mean, I know this. I've had lots of electronic problems with my computer.
Yeah.
And so does that have to do with Mercury in retrograde?
Yeah. So think about everything in astrology, pretty much everything has a symbolic component. So Mercury is the first rock next to the sun, right? It's the fastest moving planet.
Mm-hmm.
And so therefore we attribute it to be the messenger of the gods. Moves fast, it's quicksilver, it has a fast orbit, it rules communications, it rules cars, computers, and speaking and talking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so from Earth's perspective, when Mercury seemingly goes retrograde, it seemingly goes backwards. It doesn't really, but from Earth's perspective, the orbit slows down. So this happens about 3 times a year. And it happens in total about a third of the time.
Uh-huh.
And here's a little analogy. We're unconscious, every single human on the planet, a third of the time. It's called sleep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Mercury's pace of retrograde is analogous to the amount of time we're unconscious and rebooting, redoing, allowing ourselves to replenish. So
Oh.
think of Mercury retrograde as a time, in a positive sense, Angie, to reboot your mind, to rethink things.
Oh, I love that. That's a wonderful way to think of that because that's really true. And I didn't know that, but over this last couple weeks, I've just naturally been doing that.
Yeah, and for myself, and I had the same experience. Like old things I've wanted to do have come up into play, and I've been reworking them.
Yeah.
So don't, again, a consciousness and attention always has a framing to it. So people who are less informed or maybe new to astrology put Mercury retrograde into this box of a horror show. And it's not that way. Yeah, sometimes the electronics might splutter out because maybe we are thinking too fast and having too much to think about using our electronics. Maybe it's the better time during a Mercury retrograde to meditate, reflect, and relax. All those RE words.
And not be on the computer. You know, I always feel this too. When Mercury's in retrograde, I feel like I get more organized.
Yes.
Yeah, like I'll have this urge to, I am going to clean the junk room, you know?
Yep.
Yeah. You know, then that's usually the room or the drawers or whatever that, or the closet that I avoid. But every time Mercury goes into retrograde, I can almost kind of tell when it's going to happen because I start to feel that urge.
Yes. I'm the same way, my dear. It's a great time to resort to resorting. So it's going on now. It's going to go direct. That means it's station direct at 6 p.m. on Tuesday.
Okay.
And then there's another thing. See, astrologers love to confound people. They love to give fancy words, and so you feel like, I should know this. And then Mercury's in its shadow, and that sounds really ominous too, right? Well, it's not a big deal. So Mercury's goes direct on the 22nd, and it stays in its shadow, which means it's in the same few degrees compared to when it went retrograde at 24 Gemini. So a lot of astrologers will say, oh, well, just don't do anything until it's out of the shadow. Well, my goodness, we still have to live. And if we have to do what we have to do, we have to do it. So, but by the way, it's in its shadow period until the 8th of July. So I'm advising my clients that this is a great time to reboot and rethink things and then strike where the striking's hot on July 8th, then after the new moon. See, astrology has at least 10 little things you got to look at before you make a decision about something, right?
Yeah, I know. Well, I remember talking to Elaine Thomas, who's a good astrologer, and she'd say to me, this is not the time to make a deal with a business transaction, or don't buy a car right now.
Exactly.
Yeah. You agree?
I totally agree. I mean, I can't tell you how many times that's happened to me. I just had to cool my heels and not make that ultimate decision.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a quick Mercury retrograde with myself. It's really funny because all the planets and all the signs have affinity for body parts. So Mercury retrograde, or Mercury itself, and Gemini represents the lungs and the hands and the wrists. So back in 1996, I was out and about. It was a winter night with my girlfriend, and we were having a good old time in downtown Buffalo. Anyway, I slipped and fell and broke my wrist.
Ooh.
Not cool.
Not good. No.
The full moon was in Gemini, and Mercury was retrograde.
Wow.
Just like the energy is right now. A lot strong Gemini and retrograde Mercury.
Okay.
And so if I've had all sorts of pain in my life, I'm sure everybody listening has had pain, but there's nothing like bone pain.
Oh, yeah.
Because they had to pull it into place in the hospital and set the bones. But the point of the story is that I really smashed at a Colles fracture. It was very bad. I wasn't going to postpone surgery because they had to sew my hand back up, but they lost the little screws inside of my wrist. They lost them, and Mercury was retrograde. So I didn't have to have just one. I had 2 surgeries.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So Gemini rules 2.
So what does that mean? So what did you say? So Mercury in retrograde and Gemini is?
I'm sorry. The point is Gemini rules the wrists and the hands.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, this happened under a Gemini full moon on the day.
Gotcha. Okay.
And retrograde often means redoing. So I had the surgery once. I had to do it again.
Oh.
Because the doctors lost the screws in my wrist.
Yeah. How the heck did that happen? Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, so that's a good Mercury retrograde story. I had to redo the surgery for Mercury ruled wrists.
Yeah. So Cassandra, there's other planets in retrograde now as well, right? Or they're gonna be, or tell us about that. Because
Sure.
there's a lot going on astrologically, right? Like this last
Absolutely.
couple months.
Absolutely. It's been an absolute wild storm. So for example, we have Saturn and Pluto retrograde. And so a retrograde, remember, retrograde means reboot.
Right.
So it's as if society from the pandemic is trying to reboot itself. What's the new normal? When the pandemic began, astrologically speaking, it began on January 12th of 2020.
Okay.
And that's when the planet of death and the planet of restriction and the planet of grumpy old man was in the sign of society, and governments were together for the
Wow.
first time in 600 years.
Really? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes a lot of sense on everything that happened. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a total reset of the world.
Yeah.
So right now, with those two major planets retrograde, depending on the city, country, or government, things are sputtering back into place with new rules, new situations. I mean, it's still top of mind. The pandemic is still top of mind. So that's one aspect of our lives. On the 25th, oh, interesting.
Of this month, June?
Yeah, this Lilydale opens on the 25th,
On the
right?
25th, yeah. Yeah.
That's a big day.
Is it?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
It's a big day because Neptune goes retrograde on that day.
Okay.
And it's right around the full moon. So it's going to be a wonderful opening. And Neptune rules psychic, mediumistic issues.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I think that's something that ends up being the opening day for Lilydale. That's perfect.
Yeah, it is perfect.
Couldn't be more perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Exactly. So I think the thing, I love sharing the astrology with people. Love it, because oftentimes, like with any profession, when people become interested in it, they may be turned off with all this lingo and all this information. But I always like to remind people that life is like that. Life is complex. You know, it's not like a black or white, good, bad day. Within the course of a 24-hour period, we have highlights, we have lowlights, and we have neutral lights. Our life is like that. And the planets reflect that in our own personal charts.
Yes, that's true. So Cassandra, you teach astrology, and I want to talk about that because you teach it so people can learn, you know, if they want you to do what you do, but you also teach it because it's a good thing to know and help you navigate your life, right?
Exactly. I find it to be a truly, in my experience, a validation of the grace of the Creator God, however you may perceive God to be. I think I'm so happy and blessed because every day I become blown away by the precision in which astrology works. I mean, true astrology. True astrology. And by that, I mean, with all of its complexity. So it makes me have faith that there is a intelligent design behind everything.
Yeah.
That this isn't all random.
Yeah.
And I mean, like the science of astrology, I mean, it was originally the original science, reminds us that we're kind of all connected. And there's like gears in the sky and the cosmos, which are affecting the very atoms of our lives in our bodies. So I love it. And that makes me have a lot of joy, because if someone's going through, say, and people do this, right? They go through a 7-year period of bad luck. And they might say sometimes, oh my God, Cassandra, do you think someone cursed me? Do you think this is karma? Do you think this is bad? Well, I go, no, it's just Saturn. It's kind of like this neutral thing that makes you flex your muscles, that represents discipline, hard work, and focus. So it gives people faith in a universe that's unfolding the way it should.
I always felt like when I would get a reading from you, and I thought like I felt like astrology or the energy of it supports you, right? That
Yeah.
you can kind of use that support, like say Mercury in retrograde. Like I want to hurry up and get my whole house organized because I know once it's over, I probably won't want to anymore. Right. But really it's true that, and I always felt that whenever I've gotten a reading from you, is it's like that's there, it's supporting you. So I mean, it makes really always made good sense to me.
Yeah, that there's challenge, there are challenges in every given moment, and then there are some amazing opportunities. And what astrology is, you want to get right down to it, it's a language. So you're like reading the language of the gods, and so it gives you that sense of validation that, again, you're not alone in the universe. It's just a simple little question or observation. One of my dear friends from Vermont is just a new grandma, and she's what we call a 15-degree Scorpio rising. Now, if I lost a lot of people, oh, that's lingo. All that means is when this lady was born, it was 15 degrees of Scorpio on the eastern horizon. She was born in Syracuse. Okay, so 15 degrees because the horizon has a degree. Well, her grandbaby is born with 15 degrees of Scorpio moon, to grandma's rising sign.
Okay.
And her daughter has 15 degrees of Venus in her chart. So all of them, 3 generations of women, which spans over 70 years, all have this connecting point between each other in their charts.
Wow.
So stuff like that is like, oh, wow.
Yeah. And that's kind of that feeling of your family, but then there are certain people you feel connections with. I wonder what we have, because I've always felt a connection with you.
We do.
At each other. Yeah, for sure.
Actually, it's so funny. This is, oh my gosh, this is how spirit works, right?
Yeah.
Example I just gave, you and I have.
We do?
Yeah, in a different sign. I'm a Libra rising and you're a Libra moon. That's why everyone loves you, my dear. Because Libra rules love, and Libra rules, think about what you've done. You bring people together. You're loving. You're lovely. You know how to network. You're connected with balance and beauty, and so forth. And I have that as my rising sign.
Yeah, so, yes.
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah. And that's why, because you and I connect well together when we teach together and all that too.
Absolutely.
So, see, I didn't know that. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So, okay. So Cassandra, what's going on with all the eclipses? Aren't there a bunch of those happening right now too?
Yeah.
I know there was a big one in June with that full moon.
Yes. I'm going to talk about that. Just going to have a sip of,
I can do the same thing. We have to have our Tim Horton coffee. Yes, everybody. What's life without your Tim Horton coffee, right?
I know. Someone said they must put some sort of addictive substance in there.
Oh, I think they do. I think they must. I don't ever like to think about how many times I drive through that in a day.
I know. This is yummy.
Yeah.
So, I love talking about eclipses. In fact, here's my little reminder to you all.
Let's talk about. Yeah, we got to talk about your classes.
But I'm going to talk about the eclipses.
Yeah,
the eclipses are so rich, and on the 15th of July, at Fellowships of the Spirit, I'm teaching a day-long eclipse class, or maybe it's a half day long. I'm not sure.
On the 15th.
15th of July.
Okay, and so tell us about that class. Oh, here it is. Okay, good. Everybody, Karen's backstage.
Hey, Karen.
Hi, Karen. Yes, Cassandra, neither one of us would be this good to be able to bring this up this way.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, we have.
We love Karen.
Yes, we do.
I have a connection with Karen too, my Virgo friend.
Chart that same way. So yeah, okay. So go ahead, tell us about it. The nodes. No.
Yeah. So this is the class, and the nodes are the backstory of the visuals of an eclipse. So most people, even if they don't know astrology, they know that we've got eclipses from time to time, and we shrug our shoulders and say, oh, that's interesting. The sun or the moon disappeared. We've got usually minimally 2 eclipse pairs a year. So the one pair of eclipses that occurred on May 26th, that was the full moon eclipse where the moon disappeared. And then we had one last week on the 10th, and that was a solar eclipse. It was called the Ring of Fire.
Okay.
Well, anyway, the eclipses or the nodes have been in the signs of Gemini and Sagittarius for over a year, since middle of 2020. On starting this year in 2021, this is what the class is about. The class is talking about when the eclipses move, our consciousness moves. My dear friends, there's your individual will force, your individual mind, your individual soul, of which is yours. And then we're part of a collective, and that's called the collective unconscious. In astrology, we talk about the collective unconscious as like an evolution of the group or the awareness of humankind. We've been disharmonious. Is that a good word? Is that a politically correct word?
I don't know, but
we've been in disharmony. We've been polarized in the past year and a half. So if there wasn't a pandemic, we would have invented a pandemic. If there wasn't a political discourse between the previous president and the present president, we would have, see what I'm saying? We had Gemini, Sagittarius, discordant energy since May of last year. Guess what? Starting in November, the eclipses will shift into Scorpio, Taurus. We won't be talking about the pandemic. We won't be talking political. We'll be talking survival stuff.
Really?
All right. Yeah, we'll be talking about money and substance and real things, because the eclipses are changing at the end of this year in November. And that's what the fellowships class is about. It's going to be very rich. It's only 3 hours long, but I'll pack a lot of information in for y'all.
Yeah.
So anyway, the eclipses that we're under right now, it's about getting our thoughts straight.
Okay. Oh.
Our thoughts straight. Believing your own beliefs without interference of the media, your best friend, tapping into your own inner wisdom, trusting the God of your understanding, becoming laser focused on knowing what it is you know and not getting off track.
Isn't that's so interesting? Now, see, I didn't know that, but again, it's all, you hear the astrology and it's how you've been feeling, because I've been feeling like that. I don't want everybody's opinions, and I usually like to hear people's opinions, but it's felt very important to know where I stand and how I feel inside myself. So that's exactly what you're saying. Isn't there stuff going on too with didn't I see partnerships and love or something? Or no? Or yeah, that's true. Okay.
Yeah. So I could go, if you want me to right now or a little later, I can go through all the signs and give them a little.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Would that be fun?
Yeah, actually. Yeah, and we have lots of people writing things. I'm not real. I
can answer questions for people too.
Yeah, here, you want to do one here? Here's Kathy. Hi, Kathy Reeser. Hello and happy Friday, beautiful ladies. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
Yeah, if there is time, I have a question. I was born 2 months premature, and I've always wondered how it figures into my astrological chart. I was born end of October, Scorpio, but wasn't due until sometime in January. Does astrology this is interesting, go by my actual birth date or when I was supposed to be born? Good question.
Oh, Kathy, great question. And I had a situation like that with my own son, actually, but I won't bore you with those details. We're born when we're born. And the idea that astrologers like to use the first breath, whether you're premature or a C-section or whatever the circumstances are of your breath, you're either connected to the mother and swimming under the waters of the uterus. You're basically, all of us come from the sea, right? Our mother's sea, right? The uterus. But when we're born, we detach from the mother and we go onto a new plane. We go onto the planet, and the breath is what connects us. So you're a Scorpio, sweetie. That's all there is to it, and you might have some Capricorn traits, since we have to take a look at your chart, but there's a magic and a mystery of when we're born, just like there's a magic and a mystery when we die and we get reborn into the other life.
Yes, I love that. A magic and a mystery. That's so true. Yeah, thank you. That's interesting. I love that. I hope I definitely feel like you got a good answer, Kathy. Karen Marie, or no, wait a minute. Oh, Brenda, I'm sorry. Hi, Karen Marie. And Brenda, so what's going on right now is really affecting Sagittarius.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So yeah. So the signs that are most affected, actually, not just right now, this month, let's date back all the way to June 5th of 2020. The cycle of the past year until really maybe even January of 2022 is a reordering and a reconfiguration, especially for Gemini and Sagittarius sun signs, moon signs, rising signs, and the Sagittarius Gemini parts of our charts, right?
Okay.
So all of us, and this is another little rule of Cassandra's rule of astrology, don't worry if you're not a Sagittarius. There's Sagittarius somewhere in your chart. All of us
have all of them in our
yeah,
chart. Oh,
yeah.
okay. Okay.
The reason I say that because all of us were born on a planet, and we have the ecliptic of the stars, suns, moons, and signs in the backstory, and it's based on a circle, based on the mandala of the solar system. So all of us have each of the 12 energies vibrating in ourselves, within ourselves. We're made of the same stardust, all of us, but in different configurations.
Ooh, I love that. I love how you said that. That's true. And that's what kind of makes us all one, right?
It makes us all one.
We're different,
Exactly.
unique, and yet we're all one for
Yeah.
sure. So do you want to, I'll read through the questions while
Sure.
you do.
Yeah, I love questions.
Rhonda, we remember you saying that at the time that astrologists have been anticipating that this time period for years. Cassandra, do you want to do you were going to go through each sign and kind of talk about how things are affecting each sign. Do you want to do that? And I'll read the comments.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'll do that first. Okay. So the eclipses, we're in eclipse season. The eclipse of the solar eclipse of Gemini that just took place is pointing us into a new direction. We may not be able to grasp onto that quite yet, but for each of us, like I said earlier, we're getting our thoughts lined up. So for Aries or Aries rising, the thoughts that you're lining up has to do with your own strategies for success, your marketing. You're getting very fiercely focused on managing your everyday environment, like your space. That's for the Aries. You're speaking your mind with gusto. If you're Taurus or Taurus rising, and that's partially you too, my dear Angie, because you're Taurus rising.
Yes.
The eclipses are actually activating your self-worth and your value. Ooh. And ways to maximize, my father used to say, work smarter, not longer. Yeah. So that you have abundance, but not, hurting yourself. Right. So it's about managing your financial abundance, but really looking at all the different skill sets you have.
Wow. Okay. Very interesting.
Getting very focused on that.
Yeah, that's very interesting. There again, every time you tell me this, I'm like, I've been doing that.
I know I'm very humbled by this because I'm just humbled by it.
Yeah.
If you're Gemini or Gemini rising, all eyes are on you. Boy, you are so excited about being you, but so frustrated that not everybody knows about you yet. So your Gemini rising is like, I'm a new person, but no one else is noticing yet. That's because Mercury's retrograde. So the Gemini people are getting really excited about a new awareness and consciousness about themselves. We're always talking. I'm talking to you right now, but 9 times out of 10, for each of us, we're just talking to ourselves. I mean, chitter, 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 chitter. So the Geminis have been talking to themselves, and they want everybody to be aware of who they are. So that's what's going on there.
Okay, so everybody will soon, so they can count on that, right?
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
The Cancer or Cancer risers, this eclipse is saying to them, for heaven's sakes, get busy on doing what you need to do for your spiritual growth. Don't call yourself a meditator if you're not meditating.
That's good too. I like that. I know.
It's like the eclipses are doing this to the Cancers. They're
Yeah.
saying you need to nurture yourself by being alone. Don't be afraid of being alone.
Ah,
Invite it. Just be aware that you need to do what you need to do to bolster your spirituality.
okay. Okay. Yeah, that's good too.
Yeah. The Leos or Leo rising, Leo or Leo rising people are saying, where are my friends? I want to be able to completely and utterly trust my BFFs, my best friends forever, and I'm going to be naming them. I don't have to have a whole, house full of friends. All I need is one or two or three. All right.
Uh,
So Leos are discriminating and becoming more specific about who's really their friends, not family, friends,
okay.
and making those choices.
Okay. I know a couple Leos. They sound like they're going through that. That helps me understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
And oh, by
finally-
the way, the stuff I'm giving you guys is really in effect until November 19th, because eclipses are supercharged new moons. Solar eclipses are like, on steroids, the new moon. People
Yeah.
say, oh, new moon, new moon. Well, yeah, it's a new moon, but it's an eclipse. It's a
Right.
solar eclipse.
Yeah.
All right. Virgo or Virgo rising. My dear friends, you are visualizing what you want to do for your work and your career. And that's our beautiful Karen out there.
One like this. So go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's okay. Karen, we got to get together soon, sweetie. You know what I'm saying here. I'm waiting on you. I know we're all busy, but with beautiful Karen, this or all the Virgos out there, your vision for your career is being crystallized by the solar eclipse. I can do that. I don't have to do all of this. I want to do that. So
Wow.
it's kind of like the sword of discrimination for career is launching our Virgo friends.
Wow. Boy, Karen. Too bad Karen's not in the conversation, That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, she's shaking her head, yes.
Yeah. Libra or Libra rising. Now that would include myself.
Yes.
The eclipse is in the 9th house. And this is really funny because I got eclipse. This is like my second interview this week, which came out of the blue, right?
Yeah.
But the 9th house for Libras or Libra rising is marketing, media, publishing, and traveling.
Wow.
And for me personally, I've made the commitment with another wonderful medium at Lilydale, our good friend Patricia Bell, Reverend Patricia Bell.
Yep.
We're going to be going on a healing cruise. And I was on the fence about going, but we are going to go. And you guys, if you are interested, please, I'll send you lots of information on this next April.
Is it another one of those cruises that anybody can go on with you?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
And this is an astrology healing cruise in April. I was on the fence about it, but the eclipse for me, the Libra rising, said, you're going. So,
I'll have to have you and Patricia on together, and we can talk about that soon.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. That'd be awesome. So that's for all the Libras, they're thinking about their truth. They're thinking about travel. They're thinking about expressing their philosophical knowingness with this eclipse. And not this, not that, but this. This is what my beliefs are. That's for our Libras.
Okay.
Scorpio or Scorpio rising. This also falls under Karen's category because she's a Scorpio rising.
Okay.
Scorpio or Scorpio rising people are using the eclipse to empower themselves, going deep within their gut and saying, this is who I am. I'm not going to be pushed and pulled in different directions. I'm going to tap into my inner knowingness and inner power. It's an empowering eclipse for you, Karen.
Wow.
And everybody else out there who's Scorpio.
That makes sense, Karen. That makes sense. It does. She's shaking her head. And you guys can't see her, but she's shaking her head. Mary Ann said, love our cruises. Angie, come with us. I want to. Now that I'm hearing about this, I have time. I can save up, right? Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
There are times outside of time. That's what the cruises are. They're so cool. So
yeah.
Sagittarius, the eclipse is in your partnership house. So if you're thinking about, my dear Sagittarius friends, Who is my significant other? How can I become a better partner to my best friend? How can I become a better person and find that partner? How can I empower or love the best friends in my life? It's all about partnership for our
Mm-hmm.
Saggies. Okay.
Okay.
Capricorn or Capricorn rising, it's about your work and your self-care and your health. So Capricorn's had a really strongly challenging year because all those big planets I said earlier, that's launched pandemic year, were in Capricorn. So there's not a Capricorn around who's not like doing this. They're like a little dizzy from the last year. And this eclipse is asking them self-care, take care of yourself, nurture yourself, better diet, better exercise, that type of thing.
Okay, I love that.
Mhm. Aquarius or Aquarius rising, that's you again, sweetie.
Oh, I was waiting. I can't wait for
Yeah. Make time to play.
Okay.
The eclipse is activating your creative house, your play house, your romance house, your ability to have fun, and reactivate the pleasure principle for the
Okay.
Aquarians.
Makes sense. I need to go on the cruise.
There you go.
There's my sign.
Absolutely.
I need to go on the cruise. Yes.
Pisces or Pisces rising. It's in your house of the fourth, home, family, where I'm living, how I'm living. Maybe it's time to move. Now, you might not be moving tomorrow, but you might be visualizing with this eclipse by November
Yeah.
an exit plan to whatever you don't like about your home life now. So it's a lot of times, I think everybody would agree, that's for our Pisces friends, home and family. I think most people would agree that everything in our lives, everything around us, every object, every goal, every marriage, every divorce, every child started with a thought, right?
Yes.
So during these eclipses, the eclipses are like seeding thoughts.
Yeah.
So like you just said, oh, maybe I'll go on the cruise. And that's how I was this past week. Oh, maybe I'll do that. And it's not here yet, but the seed is sown
Yeah.
when we have eclipses. They're
And
very
then
powerful moments.
the energy kind of goes out there and everything comes. And it's
Yeah.
so funny because you said that to me about playing, and I keep getting messages from people and students, and they all keep telling me I need to play. So that's interesting too.
And like playing for you also is hanging out with your beloved furry friends too.
Oh yes, yes. I'll have,
Because they're like they're children. I cannot believe how adorable she is and how she's not barking.
oh yes, she is. That's because she gets scared. She's here she is, everybody.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, she is. She's scared. She's new. She was born during the pandemic, right? And we're right before it. So she pretty much for a year and a half didn't know anybody, you know.
Mm.
So all right, so Cassandra, you know what I want to get to because I can't believe how fast this goes.
Oh wow.
I know that you have a class coming up in Lilydale, so let's talk about that.
Sure.
What's
I'm
next? That's what I
so
want.
blessed. I have a whole bunch of classes coming up in Lilydale and fellowships. My dear friends, if you're interested in getting a taste of astrology, consider the June 30th Astrology Discoveries. And I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite planets. Oh, they're all my favorite. There goes my Libra rising thing again. But I'll be talking about Jupiter. And Jupiter is going to give us a gift this year. And the gift of Jupiter is psychic intuition for everybody. It's free from the universe. Anyway, I'll be talking about that. It's only $20. It's an evening, Zoom or in person at Lilydale. And then that same week or the following week at Lilydale, I'm doing a mindfulness meditation on the 9th.
Love that.
Yeah, use your meditation in a more specific
Is that
way.
teaching somebody how to meditate, or you're guiding everybody through?
Yeah, honey, it's actually more than teach. Of course, we'll teach people who've never meditated before, but I'm also going to give you your astrological types of meditations to do.
Okay, that's great. I have some friends I'm going to be sending to that one. That's
Yeah.
great. Okay, and what else?
And then Chiron for you healers, the way of the healer at Lilydale, that's July 12th. That's more of a day-long investment. The Beyond Mindful Meditation is only a half a day. investment. And then we've got the tapping into past lives using the lunar nodes. Those are the nodes again, the eclipses. That's on August 24th. And then also, blah, blah, blah. The nodes know at Fellowships of the Spirit, which takes place on July 15th.
Karen, go back to that one for Lilydale, because I just want to tell everybody, if you look at the bottom, www.lilydaleassembly.org, okay, that's where you can go if you're interested in finding out more about Cassandra's classes and you want to register. And I want to remind everybody, too, that all the Lilydale courses this year are being offered in person or on Zoom, which I just think is beautiful. Because if you can't get, so, you want to, we all want to be in Lilydale, but if you can't get there for one of these beautiful classes, you can take it on Zoom. So I wanted to just throw that in. And then on fellowships, so that's Fellowships of the Spirit, which actually I'm a graduate of, and Cassandra, you are too, of a bunch of courses there, and we both teach there as well. But so that's where Cassandra's teaching the nodes know, and on that one too, you can register at www.fellowships. There's two S's, spirit.org. And for that one, Karen knows this. Is that being offered just on Zoom? Okay. So the courses at Fellowships are on Zoom, so anybody can take them, which I love that. I mean, I didn't want to teach on Zoom, but now I would never stop. So, okay.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Any others that we want to talk about?
Then I think that's all. The Jupiter class.
But that next one's coming up, and that's you said the 30th, June 30th.
Yeah, that's like a little mini class, just for a couple hours. A good introduction to astrology. So we talk about your Jupiter.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, my classes.
Yay!
I'm teaching too. So how to stay connected to your loved ones. I'm teaching that in Lilydale, Wednesday, August 4th, from 9:30 to 12:30. Thanks, Karen. So, and that, again, that's in person or Zoom. Oh, and this one, I'm super excited. Develop your intuitive abilities. Okay. And that's for anybody. It's Saturday, July 17th from 9:30 to 4:30. And that's in person or on Zoom as well. So I'm really excited to teach that. So, and I another one too. Okay, so past life regression and your soul blueprint. Love teaching this. I've taught it before. This is through Fellowships, Sunday, August 1st, 10 to 5. So yeah, come and join me. Come to my classes and Cassandra's classes, and we'll have so much fun. Okay, so I'm just looking to see if we have any last questions for you, Cassandra. Where is Lilydale? Okay, that's a good question. Lilydale is located in Cassadaga, New York. It's near Lake Chautauqua. It's probably about an hour, right, Cassandra? About an hour and 15 minutes from Buffalo.
Yes.
So yeah, and I'd say an hour and a half from Niagara Falls. I'm trying to think how to say it. Maybe 15 minutes from Lake Chautauqua.
It's close to Pennsylvania too. It's in the southwestern corridor of New York State.
Yeah. Yes. Let's see. Somebody asked, I'm trying to find the question. They keep kind of moving up. Okay. So hi, Susan. Is there romance on the horizon for us Aries girls? I had to ask you that one.
Oh, sure. So romance for Aries in general. Remember, Aries has its opposite, which is Libra, which is the sign of, okay. Boy, I'm defaulting now to the psychic part. Let's not talk about Aries girls. Let's talk about you, the Aries girl. What's the lady's name?
Susan.
Susan. Okay, so Susan, the particular eclipse is giving you inspiration in how to meet people. And what I'm picking up intuitively is that you've been putting your hand up. I'm not so sure I want to do this social media thing, but if you're getting any hits or inspiration to join one of those match.coms, I'm not giving them a plug necessarily, go for it. Right. You might have to get outside of your comfort level to widen your scope of meeting people. And then by October, full-fledged romance for Susan.
Okay, awesome. Susan, I know Susan too. So Susan, that's good to hear. We want to hear details too, right? We want to hear what happens. So, all right. So Cassandra, thank you so much for
My
coming on.
pleasure.
Yeah, yeah. Is there anything else? Did we miss anything? Anything else that you wanted to quickly?
Sure. Keep on setting your intentions, my friends. Believe in your own mind. Get laser focused on making decisions for yourself. Use the eclipse in that way, because we have been thrown about in the past year with mental stress. I mean, apart from all of the horrific physical stress of COVID, and obviously the painful leaving of certain people when they've passed away with COVID, everyone has gone through cognitive dissonance. And so now it's the season to move forward and think your own thoughts and blaze a new path for yourselves with this eclipse.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. And thank you, Cassandra, so much for coming on. I loved this. It was like we got to hang out for an hour, which is so much fun.
Yeah, I know. I love you, dear heart. Remember, you're a Libra moon.
I know, whatever, we're 15 degrees, right? So we know that.
Yeah.
Cassandra, Angie removed herself accidentally.
Okay.
So you get to wrap up the show and I'll hop off.
Okay. Well, thank you for being a part of the Lilydale session. Come on in here, Angie. Angie's going to come right in here.
Yeah, I'm right here, guys.
Look at this.
Hi, everybody.
We should have done it this way.
We should have done it this way. This would have been so much more fun. Yeah. So thank you so much. Thank you, Cassandra, and thank you to everybody. And thank you to Karen too, because we wouldn't be doing this at all without her. And join us next week, because Karen and I are going to be in Lilydale. I don't know if you are too. You want to come to Lilydale?
All
right, Cassandra too.
I'll be down there.
And we're going to do a live from Lilydale. So you'll get to see Cassandra again too. So thank you, everybody, so much.
Bye.
Bye. I think you got to do